Does anyone remember this kids show? It was called Candle Cove. I must have been around 6 or 7. I never found reference to it anywhere, so I think it was on a local station around 1971 or 1972. I lived in Ironton at the time. I don't remember which station, but I do remember it was on a weird time, like 4 p.m. It seems familiar to me. I grew up outside of Ashland and was 9 years old in 72. Candle Cove. Was it about pirates? I remember a marionette at the mouth of a cave talking to a little girl. Yes! Okay, I'm not crazy. I remember Pirate Percy. I was always scared of him. He looked like he was built with parts from other dolls. Real low budget. His head was an old porcelain baby doll. Looked like an antique that didn't belong on the body. I don't remember what station it was. I don't think it was WTSF though. Sorry to resurrect this little thread, but I know exactly what show you mean, Sky Shale. I think Candle Cove ran for only a couple months in 1971, not 72. I was 12, and I watched it a few times with my brother. It was on Channel 28, whatever station that was. My mom would let me switch to it after the news. Let me see what I remember. It took place in Candle Cove, and it was about a little girl who imagined herself to be friends with pirates. The pirate ship was called the Laughing Stock, and Pirate Percy wasn't a very good pirate because he got too scared very easily. And there was calliope music constantly playing. Don't remember the girl's name though. Janice or Jade or something? I think it was Janice. Thank you, Jared. Memories fled back when you mentioned the Laughing Stock in Channel 58. I remember the bow of the ship was a one smiling face with a lower jaw submerged. It looked like it was swallowing the sea, and it had an awful Ed Wynn voice and laugh. I especially remember how jarring it was when they switched from the plastic and wooden boat model to the foam puppet version of the head that talked. I remember now too. Do you remember this part, Sky Shale? You have to go inside. Ugh, Mike, I got chill reading that. Yes, I remember. That's what the ship told Percy when there was a spooky place he had to go in, like a cave or a dark room where the treasure was. And the camera would push in on the Laughing Stock's face with each pause. You have to go inside. With his two eyes skewed and that flopping foam jaw, and the fishing line that opened and closed it. Ugh. It just looks so cheap and awful. You guys remember the villain? He had a face that was just a handlebar mustache about the really tall, narrow teeth. I honestly thought the villain was Pirate Percy. I was about 5 years old when this show was on. Nightmare fuel. That wasn't the villain. The puppet with the mustache? That was the villain's sidekick, Horace Horrible. He had a monocle too, but it was on top of the mustache. I used to think that meant he had only one eye. But yeah, the villain was another marionette, the Skin Taker. I can't believe what they let us watch back then. Jesus H. Christ, the Skin Taker. What kind of a kid's show were they watching? I seriously could not look at the screen when the Skin Taker. He just descended out of nowhere on his strings. Just a dirty skeleton wearing a brown top hat and cape, and his glass eyes that were too big. Wasn't this top hat and cloak all sewn up crazily? What was that supposed to be children's skin? Yeah, I think so. Remember his jaw didn't open and close. His jaw just slid back and forth. I remember the little girl asked, "Why does your mouth move like that?" And the Skin Taker did not look at the girl, but at the camera and said, "To grind your skin." I'm so relieved that other people remember this terrible show. I used to have this awful memory, a bad dream I had where the opening jingle ended. The show faded in from black, and all the characters were there, but the camera was just cutting to their faces, and they were just screaming. And the puppet and marionettes were flailing spastically, and just all screaming. and screaming. The girl was just moaning and crying like she had been through hours of this. I woke up many times in this nightmare. I used to wet the bed when I had it. I don't think it was a dream. I remember that too. I remember it was an episode. Oh god, yes. Oh, the little girl Janice. I remember seeing her shake, and the skin taker screaming through his gnashing teeth, his jaw careening so wildly. I thought it would come off its hinges. I turned it off, and it was the last time I watched it. I ran to tell my brother, but we didn't have the courage to turn it back on. I visited my mom today at the nursing home. I asked her when I was little, in the early 70s, when I was 8 or 9, and she remembered a kids show called Candle Cove. She said she was surprised I could remember. When I asked her why, she said, because I used to think it was so strange that you said, "I'm going to watch Candle Cove now, Mom." And then you would just tune the TV to static and just watch dead air for 30 minutes. You had a big imagination with your little pirate show.